Is it live?
I'm asking you, brother.
It's not live. Pull up the thing. Like, pull up the thing from the channel. Like,
Oh my god. Oh my lord. Studio. Wait, what? Damn it. I could have sworn I started it though. This is why I don't like. I am live. What?
oh wait, let's see. Hello everyone watching in the chat. Type if it's live for you. If you hear us at all.
We're still working out the kinks. This is what I get for trying to schedule it ahead of time. If you're able to type that in, if you're driving, put your phone down. Don't watch the stream. Don't just listen to it. Don't do that. It says only one watching from where I'm sitting at.
Well, I'm watching.
Well, put a little message like say hello, just to say grease.
I can't type.
You can't?
Oh no. No. Like YouTube is weird for me. What the hell?
Wonderful start. Wonderful start. That was strange. I could probably. Whoops. Let's not do that.
No one's watching yet.
I mean, it's fine. We can get started. We can get started regardless. Like they can just tune in when they can. I imagine it's gonna be a long one. All right, let's try that again. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 1 of the BS podcast.
Hello, everyone. Oh, geez. I have something playing in the background. Hello, everyone. Yes, this is the BS podcast. I'm Blaze.
And I'm Shard.
And we're going to hear... We're here for this weekly dose of BS. Now, quick disclaimer for everyone watching. So far, 2 of us. This is our first time running into it. Just a second ago, I know we were supposed to start at 1:30, but we had some technical stuff trying to figure this out because we pre-scheduled this and trying to work out the kinks. But going forward, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you all for joining us for our first stream. And we got a few topics to talk about today. Nothing crazy, nothing hard to digest. But rest assured that as time goes along, we'll have more heavy-handed topics. Sometimes maybe even topics that take up a single topic that could take up an entire stream on its own, or maybe multiple different topics along the way. But quick introduction: I'm Blaze. I am one of the two. I am the co-host of the BS podcast. I usually cover more of the political, legal, and philosophical type of topics, or just whatever that floats my boat.
All right, and I'm Shard, the second co-host of the BS podcast. I usually handle the social issues and social-based topics, ranging from relationships to full-on topics such as, it can range from anything social related. It goes crazy. And if you listen to this on a later day, thank you so much for joining us. Apologies if you could not make it to us on the live viewing, but everybody has a life. We can't control yours. We're just grateful you came to tune in all the same. If you are, of course, live joining us, please share with a friend or family member. We're hoping to open some open dialogue in the chat if you're able. And without further ado, Blaze, you want to get this thing started?
Yes, actually. You mentioned you actually have a couple of topics that brought to my attention recently, such as that Brazilian plane crash not long ago, correct?
Yeah, that so I brought this up to you. I think it was like early this week. I think around like Monday or Sunday, I can't remember. And I brought this up to you because hoping to talk about it for the podcast, because you don't often hear about full-on tragedies such as this, like, especially in the sense of like that you don't often hear about it in the same vein as, you know, oh, natural disasters or police shootings or anything like that. You typically hear it on a off chance on very rare occasions. Hell, as far as I'm concerned, I don't remember a single plane crash taking up such major news since 9/11. So hearing about this, it truly became an eye opener for like just how badly these things can get. So for those who don't know, a plane crash hit actually not that long ago, around, I want to say the weekend prior, I want to say between August 8th to August 11th, one of those days. I cannot give you a hard one off the top of my head, but while the investigation is still underway, what we have confirmed is that including the pilot and co-pilot, there have been a total of 62 people killed in that plane crash, in the plane alone. The surrounding area where the plane has landed in Brazil, with only a certain, we don't have any numbers, but we do know that it was a certain number of people that was critically injured, not dead, but critically injured, with most of the damage being placed in property and homes rather than any particular people. So the people who got hit by the plane from the bottom, they turned out fine. The people in the plane, not so much. So that carries like a devastating reality of like just how messed up these things are. But I brought this up. I want to bring this up to the show today because, again, you don't often hear about things like this that much. And as it stands, as of today's episode, there has been no reports or any sort of insight as to what led to this. Now, I have a few theories of my own, but Blaze, if you'd be so kind, like, is there any sort of takes you might get out of this, you know, as someone who've heard this, let's say in the perspective of someone who heard this just now? Because to my knowledge, not a lot of people know about this plane crash, even though it's spanned across the entire world even.
I don't have necessarily a take per se. Did they clarify what happened? Like, did they say what led to the crash in the first place, or was it like a hijack?
No. See, here's the thing. It's because you don't often hear about plane crashes. It goes up in the air about what causes it. As it stands, we have no idea what led to it. The closest we got to information as of recently, since August 12th, on this PBS News. I had this pinned in my task for a while ago, from Eleanor Hughes from the Associated Press. While the article mainly focuses on like within the amount of 62 people that was killed, 8 of them were doctors, like full-on medical professionals. What we know so far is that a transmission that was found from the co-pilot was stating that before the plane has crashed, a transmission was found that the pilot was saying that the plane needed more power. So in my mind, that thinks the plane was either not fueled properly, or I don't know if planes have batteries or anything of the like. Like if it's not the engine fuel, it's definitely something electrical or something power related that causes plane to go, up in flames. And as fucked up as that is, that's option one. Now, personally, I think it's a bit more deeper than that, but I don't want to be here, what do you call it? I don't want to be here and say, with a tinfoil hat on my head, say that it was full on hijack terrorist style. Because, these type of things terrorist attacks oftentimes come out in situations where once they hit, it would not be long before the terrorist organization in question would come and present themselves saying, let this be a message for, type stuff, I mean, what's the common tactic that terrorists do? They hijack or they kill or bombing. They do things in such a spectacular fashion to terrorize people and And what comes afterwards is that the people who those terrorists work for would send a message in relation to that or present themselves in some sort of way.
Was this a hijack though? That's what I'm asking.
No, I don't believe it's a hijack because as it stands, because all we have based on that one transmission and very little evidence to say anything otherwise, it could just be like a full-on mechanic failure, maybe even something more than that. Again, this investigation is still on its progress, and I can't tell whether or not it would result to, like, God forbid it's a hijack, because this type of thing can really go up in smoke really fast. But God forbid it's a hijack. But I firmly believe that it's something technical based on that transmission alone. And it was more.
Okay.
It was more. I would talk about it, but like I have no fucking clue of what led to that.
All right. All right. That's interesting. On to the next story. However, the Olympics is been going on for the last few weeks, and there's been a lot of controversy as of late regarding both the opening ceremony with the whole mockery to the Last Supper. You have that transgender boxer who just won her fight against that woman. I forgot the name. And then
alleged transgender boxer. I've seen.
It ain't alleged. It ain't alleged. But no. But rather, it's Paris. But yeah, you have all that stuff. But today we're going to talk about a particular event that just happened not long ago related to breakdancing.
Breakdancing.
Yes. So one of the events was, now I don't know how or why they did this, but there was a breakdancing event, and there was this one person. What was her name? Shard, help me out here.
What?
What was it? What was that break? Oh, Raygun.
Raygun?
She was a breakdancer, called Raygun. And wonderful last name, by the way, Rachel Raygun. If she was a dude, that would be a lot funnier. But she was, not only was it the first time this event was ever done in the Olympics, because breakdancing is not a sport, so they try to add that in for some reason. But on top of that, she was the only contestant out of two that got flat 0 points. She lost all three of her. There was 3 matches. She lost every single one with 0 points. And I've seen, like,
how do you get 0 points? How the fuck do you get 0 points?
Well, that's the thing. She was really bad. She was really, really, really bad. And I would have a clip to show the audience, but unfortunately the Olympics organization, whatever it's called, they've been scouring through the internet trying to remove like long-winded clips of her performance as like damage control type of thing.
Didn't they do the same thing? Like, I know they've been doing some copyright, stuff with the Olympics, and you can't really show it. Even still images will just copyright. But didn't they do the exact same thing with who was it? That fucking pole jumper type thing where he lost because his manhood hit the pole on the way down. Like, didn't he lost points because of that?
Yeah, his name was Armand Mondo Duplantis, and that was, oh man, that was funny. And for those who don't know, Armand Mondo, is Armand like the first name? Then his middle name is Mondo. So Mondo, he was doing a pole vault, and right when he was about to succeed, he was just about to make it over. His crotch just hits the pole, and it was like it was just very funny because it wasn't the event itself, that act itself that made it funny. It was the fact that everyone who watched it all went straight to joking on this dude. Like, for example, like some of people I've seen talk about, oh, he won. He may have not won the competition, but he won the attention of many people, or he's going to be very popular in the village. And if you know what I mean, you know what I mean. And they were scouring the internet trying to get off clips of that. I guess because I imagine it's probably because I don't want like the Olympics to be seen as a joke, because much like the Oscars, much like the election, much like a lot of things in Western societies, a lot of these major events, they don't hold the same weight as they once did. Like, there's not much excitement, and the opening ceremony with that horrible depiction of the Last Supper definitely did not start off well. Then on top of the fact that I think you mentioned this, Shard, like to me a while ago, that there was a swimming event in the Paris River, but it was so dirty that people got sick.
I swear to God, I was so fucking frustrated with that because, like, again, I brought this up to you like a while, but like, this was the most. I swear to God, this year's Olympics is a fucking joke because you got like, by the way, a lot of good memes came out of this. That's the only positive about it. Like, some funny ass memes came out this year. But this year,
it's always the memes.
Yeah,
it's always the memes.
Yeah, but like everything else, this ain't it, Chief. We got that disgusting ass river in Paris or London. I can't for the life of me remember. It's one of the two. I know they're not the same place, but fuck it, it's one of them. If you're listening live, please let me know if it's one or the other. I'm pretty sure it's Paris, but if it's London,
it's called de la Seine, and it's in Paris, so it couldn't be London.
Okay, de la Seine. Okay, thank you. But like, that was the most disgusting river I've ever seen and I watched it live. That was fucking terrible. And worst part, every single without question, every single swimmer in that thing got some serious disease from that range. Some of them I would even say could be lethal if they're truly some unlucky dudes. And I don't even know, I stopped watching like halfway into the swim meet, but like I don't even know if anyone won. And even if you did win, I don't think it really matters, since like you just sacrifice your body, your health, all of that for a gold trinket. Not exactly worth my time, and not with my time or anybody's time for that matter. And you put that in perspective, like the only good thing that came out of the Olympics, aside from the memes, well, no, it's only the memes, because everything else has just been like a fucking clown show. I would get more into it on, especially that Last Supper thing, because what was that intro, man? But that ain't even the worst of it. Wasn't there like a concert style showing in between like the events or like that? I don't know if I could be wrong here. I could be thinking of something entirely different, but I could have sworn they had like some rapper or singer singing and during one of the show times, and it was just not it, man. Like I don't know what's going on this year, but it's clearly just not it.
Yeah, it's weird because and actually back on the whole Rachel Reagan situation, right? Apparently she was in hide the backlash to all the mockery she was getting for being just a poor dancer, right? She said this quote, I didn't realize that would be also open the door to so much hate, which has frankly been pretty devastating. While I went out there and I had fun, I did take it seriously. I worked my butt off preparing for the Olympics, and I gave it my all, truly. I'm honored to have been a part of the Australian Olympic team and to be part of breakdancing Olympics debut. Again, this is the first time they applied this event. Quote, what other athletes have achieved has been phenomenal. Now, unquote. Now, we mentioned, she mentioned Australia. The thing is, she, out of 100-something athletes for this newfound breakdancing team, she was the only one qualified to participate. And it did also help. There's only one other person she went up against, and she lost each and every single time. And on top of that, oh boy, her skills are just bad. And that's coming now. And yes, I know bad dancing when I see it, because growing up, dancing used to be quite the hobby for Shard and I, everyone. But even with, and although we weren't the greatest, we can easily see someone being hot dog water. But moving on. Now, for my adult viewers, which should be most people coming into this channel, recently, there has been a reported breach in the Social Security information. And of that information, 2.9 billion records. What? No, sorry, continue. Yeah, I think you topped out. But 2.9 billion records of social security numbers was stolen in a data hack. Quote, an enormous amount of sensitive information, including social security numbers for millions of people, could be in the hands of a hacking group after a data breach and may have been released on an online marketplace, the Los Angeles Times reported this week. The hacking group USDOD claimed it had allegedly stolen personal records of 2.9 billion people from national...
Excuse me, sorry.
2.9 billion people from the national public data, according to a class action lawsuit filed in the U.S. District Court in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, reported by Bloomberg Law. The breach has been believed to have happened in or around April, according to the lawsuit, unquote. Now, this implies that this breach happened a while ago. And you know what? It has been a while. However, the leakage of such information happened just recently. 3 months later? Because someone by the name of Finnis has gone out their way to not only brag about it, but put a ransom for that information, or try to sell the information for $3.5 million US dollars. And while this wouldn't, now first off, tangent aside, if you have that much information, crucial information, I would not sell for 3.5 million. But I'm not gonna implicate any ideas here. And what do you think? Like, this is quite a drastic breach now coming to light.
I mean, coming to light is one thing, but like, you gotta imagine, you have the most integral, fucking biggest necessity over anything else. Your people's literal identity in a database, protected by the government, no less. And that gets hacked overnight, and all of a sudden, like has there been any way of like before I continue, has there been any sort of what's the word punishment towards this hacker? Did they find him or something?
As it currently stands, the people or Finis, right, the hacker who is trying to sell the information, he has not been caught. And on top of that, it seems that the FBI, and the federal government is trying to figure this out, and trying to reverse engineer the hack, try to like find some digital footprints. Now, this, by the way, this isn't just happening here in the United States. This Social Security problem affected people of both Canada and the United Kingdom. And on top of that, and for clarification's sake, everyone, the National Public Data is not a federally funded organization, nor is it a branch of the federal government. Actually, the National Public Data is a third-party background check system used for businesses to try to make sure that, you know, your records, your criminal records, any particular financial records, etc., etc., and your Social Security is tied to that. Now, the real question is, what exactly does this affect? Well, Social Security affects a handful of things, but the most important ones that we're going to address is the idea of what people taking out loans in other people's names, buying.
Struggling with your English there, huh? Struggling with your English there, brother.
It's fine. It's fine. But no, Social Security, which everyone gets when they're born, it typically allows people to identify their records, but also their overall financial information. Social Security is typically good for like such things as credit cards, establishing credit, driving records, tax, employment, etc. But that first part is what is important: credit. People who should be more concerned about this data breach are those with high credit scores or really good credit score, average or above. And that's because people with good credit scores typically have better deals and benefits when taking out loans or making certain purchases. With this amount of information stolen, you have to be more concerned about who's using your name to buy these things. And mind you, this doesn't just affect people who's alive. This is affecting people who's dead, because your Social Security records continue post-death, post-mortem. So, you know, it comes and goes when it comes to who's affected and who's not even concerned. Like, how do you even break it? You and I, Shard, we don't have to be concerned about this issue because, quite frankly, we don't have this issue with our credit, or there's not much money to our name to be concerned about.
Don't spout my business out there, but
I know, but like I know it doesn't affect us.
No. But I'm more concerned with like how the hell does this even happen in the first place? Like you're a government owned like thing, like
it's not.
Well, I know it's hacked by a third party, but like why is a third party housing one of the most essential needs for all Americans right then and there? Like how why?
Well, they're not housed in anything. They have access to the information. The government holds on to it. No other entity, both the government in the UK, United States, and in Canada, their federal governments house the information themselves. That's how they keep records of everybody, and for tax reasons. The national data, right? National protected data, national public data, I mean, they're a third party system that accesses the information with permission of the government for businesses and institutions to provide background checks about crime and financial information. Because when you establish credit, you need it links back to your social security and your other financial information in the government. Hacking, and thus, when you hack the third party that has access to the larger entity, you therefore hacked the larger entity by using the same tools that third party originally had.
But you have to know what the third party tools are to make use of those tools.
Which is perfectly fine when you hack someone who has information. And given that we live in a digital space...
not fine. It'd be possible, not fine. Clearly not okay.
Well, no, I say fine, facetiously speaking. But it's to be expected, especially nowadays when we live in the age of the internet, and you can find a whole lot of information from just digital stuff alone. Now, like I said, for all you guys listening, for those who have average or you don't have credit or whatever, that I wouldn't be concerned. But for those who have a credit score, those who have a decent financial history, those who have never taken a loan out their name, refer to your banks, refer to your records, keep an eye on any weird patterns of purchases in your accounts, and just go from there. Because until the breach is handled and until the hackers are apprehended, and hopefully sooner than later before that information gets sold, 3.5 million, a lot of money, until that day happens, it's important and it's imperative that you keep a close eye on the type of money being spent in your accounts, or you're just in your name. Talk to your social security office, talk to whatever you need to talk to, because unfortunately that's all we can do. Since this is a breach with federal information, it's only so much that we can do on the surface without adding fuel to the fire.
Riveting.
Yeah,
that is.
But
that is. Yeah. You want to continue, or should I speak this time?
Well, maybe you want to just go ahead.
Riveting insight, Blaze. Honestly, I mean, that is something. I'm sorry. You just can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up. How that happened, I would never know, because that shouldn't be possible. But the deed is done. It only has been a few days to my knowledge about that, but so nothing has really kicked off. But as it stands, I can't imagine this being this obviously is not gonna sit. This is obviously not gonna sit very well for the long term. I mean, obviously.
Oh, not at all.
This is definitely something that's gonna have some dire consequences, and of course, we're just seeing. Of course, just being sold in the dark net alone should already be a concern for a lot of people, since a lot of people don't have access to the dark net, meaning you have no way of knowing how the hell your information is get there. No, this is what I would say. Get yourself one of those VPN style things where it protects your stuff, but those type of tools can get easily hacked because they're so readily available to the general public. So even that wouldn't be reliable.
Well, time will tell. As long as everyone's paying attention to their financial stuff, I'm sure things will solve itself out sooner than later, because who knows who's willing to buy off the dark web. And that's just the thing. The dark web, despite being accessible to anybody, it's more of a word of mouth type of thing. You have to know who to talk to. You have to know not to talk to you, not to know what links to follow. You have to know what context clues or hidden codes behind each posts and chats and forums. And you would think with these major businesses putting themselves at risk, because this doesn't just affect the American citizen, this affects the businesses too, because one, people inside those businesses also have Social Security, and two, if this affects their track record, this affects their taxes and all that stuff. Now, to what extent, I don't know, because it's quite a lot of stuff to digest, but at the very least, it's at least for now, at least they caught it. The sad part is, like, this is not even the first time, like, the American government been hacked before, or at least not to the it's just the first time it's reached to this extent. I can't tell you the details of what when or what was the cause of the last hackage, but the severity of this is what really makes it more apparent than not.
True.
Yeah.
Then again, our government, as it stands to this day, has been becoming utter shite. So, like, the fact that it got hacked at all, honestly, it's pretty fucking bad. Not gonna lie, but it at least made. I'm not gonna say made sense, but it at least carries a little bit more weight than one would realize. But at the same time, I feel like it's almost expected at this point, because with how shitty our government's turning out. I mean, taxes are at an all-time high. The economy is at the all-time low or high, everyone, how you look at it. The house income has become so low to not offshoot the housing market. Gas is at all-time high. Didn't you once tell me that the taxes that was increased for World War II never gone down?
Oh, that's a whole nother conversation. But yeah, since World War II, when they did all those federal programs and grants and stuff, they raised the tax rate, like, just to, manage it and pay for it all. And mind you, this is post World War II, and this was post Depression, so taxes were up, and ever since then they never brought it back down. But that's a topic for another day. But on to a different note. How many of you guys in the chat likes Disney? How many of you in the chat likes watching your Mouse of House or House of Mouse? Well, if you ever want to visit Disney World or want to do any Disney-owned property or take part in any Disney-owned franchise or business, then you better hope you don't pay for Disney Plus or anything like that, because apparently that will exempt you from suing Disney for death of a loved one.
What?
Quote, yep, on Newsweek, quote, Disney is seeking to have a wrongful death case dismissed because a grieving husband has signed up for Disney Plus membership. Unquote. So a woman,
if you subscribe to Disney Plus, apparently you can't sue them in the future. Really? This is the first I'm hearing about this.
Well, yeah, listen to this, right? Konopon.
You probably butchered it. You probably butchered that name.
I know I did, but Konopon Tang Son, widower Jeffrey Piccolo. The names write themselves. Tang Swan is the woman. She died after an allergic reaction when eating at Walt Disney Resort in Florida.
Did your microphone just top out?
No. Did it top out?
Chat, chat or any live listeners listening, if you're able to, again, if you're driving, keep your hand off the phone or whatever device you're listening us in. But if you're able to, please let us know the audio needs fixing, because like I heard him like topping out, so I'm not sure if that affected you guys to hear him. But continue.
Yeah, so Disney, Disney, a woman died eating at their restaurant, and while a husband is trying to sue Disney for the wrongful death case, Disney attorneys is trying to dismiss it, saying that because the husband had agreed to a free trial for Disney Plus 2 years ago, that exempts his ability to sue Disney further down the line.
How the fuck does subscribing to a streaming service affect your ability to sue them for damages?
Here's what it says. On Newsweek, quote, Disney lawyers argued that the terms and conditions of Disney Plus streaming service state that any dispute of any nature must be settled out of court. The widower's Jeffrey Piccolo is suing Jeffrey Piccolo is suing Disney, claiming that the wife had a fatal.
You say that I have a third grade reading level. What the fuck is it?
No. Had a fatal allergic reaction shortly after eating at a restaurant at Walt Disney World Resort and near Orlando, Florida last October. So this was a year ago. The case has been in Florida Federal Circuit Court since February. Disney claims that the lawsuit should be removed from the court because Piccolo agreed to arbitration of all disputes with Disney when he signed up for a free 1 month trial of Disney Plus streaming service in 2019. Disney states that in court documents that Disney's Plus terms and conditions says all dispute must go to binding third party arbitration and not court. Disney court brief states that Piccolo's ignored that he previously created a Disney account and agreed to arbitrate all disputes against Disney. It states that Piccolo should have read the terms and conditions of his Disney Plus account through which he purchased tickets to Disney World. In November 2019, Piccolo initially created a Disney account through the Disney Plus website, the lawsuit says. Piccolo completed the registration by providing personal information, including his email address, and created a password. Before registering the account, Piccolo had selected Agree and Continue immediately above what was disclosed, notifying Piccolo that by clicking Agree and Continue, you agree to our subscriber agreement. Piccolo then selected Agree and Continue. The term subscriber agreement was underlined in blue font, providing a hyperlink directly to the document. Piccolo agreed to the Disney terms of use. Piccolo could not have created the Disney account without doing so.
Hold up. So let me just straight, because like that's a whole lot to digest, especially for your reading. So let me get this straight. When he signed the service, that alone absolved him of suing. Because here's the thing. No, I could understand that going out to Disney, since it was it's likely in a restaurant in there. Where were they? Disney World, Disneyland, or
it was at Walt Disney World in Florida.
Okay, it is in Disney World, and if they're suing a place like Disney, then it's likely that it was in their is in Disney World's theme park, right? It was actually in the park, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, makes sense. Now, to my knowledge, Disney owns the property which those restaurants stand on. I thought they own. They were
at a restaurant at the resort.
Okay, most restaurants.
So yes, it's owned by Disney.
But technically, would it not be so? I mean, I can't say for certain, but I can't.
They own it.
Damn, that's tragic.
Tang Soon, the wife, a medical doctor, allegedly died because her meal at the Raglan Road Irish pub, okay, contained nuts and dairy. The lawsuit claims she repeatedly warned restaurant staff that she was allergic to both. Attorneys for Tang Soon's estate replied in court documents on August 2nd that Disney's arguments are incredible, as Disney Plus subscribers will have forever waived the right to a jury trial enjoyed by them and any future estate to which they are associated. As can be seen from our prior sentence, this argument borders on the surreal, the estate's lawyers claim in their response. The lawsuit lists Great Irish Pubs, Florida, and Walt Disney World Parks and Resort, U.S. as defendants.
That's dumb.
Well, Newsweek saw email comment from Disney World, Piccolo's attorney, and Great Irish Pubs, Florida, on Tuesday. The lawsuit states that Piccolo and Tang Soon's ate at the Ronald Road Irish, the Raglan. You would think it's spelled Ronald, but no. Raglan Road Irish Pub and restaurant in the Disney Springs shopping complex on October 5th, 2023. They chose the restaurant after they were reassured Raglan Road has proper safeguards to protect patrons from food allergies. Raglan Road advertises and represents to the public that food allergies and or the accommodation of person with food allergies is top priority, and that patrons/guests may consult with a chef or a special diets trained cast member before placing an order. And at all times, material plaintiffs relied upon these representations in selecting Disney Springs Raglan's Road for dinner, the lawsuit states. Disney first filed its motion to compel arbitration on May 31st and has continued with that line of argument. So, what seems to be the case here is that Disney is trying to argue that because you agreed to a terms of service with one of its products, you therefore waived away any actual civil trial for any and all Disney products. And that's just outlandish, because
that is I'll be with you, man. That is, by the definition, that is pretty much fucking predatory. That sounds very predatory.
Now, let's take that logic to its face, right? Let's break down that train of thought. One, you're legally trying to exempt any actual class action lawsuit, or rather any civil lawsuit placed against you, by virtue of anyone consuming your products, which is by definition, or just legally speaking, not possible. You can't just waive away your rights to a actual trial if just because you use the product. That's not how that works. And for anyone who doesn't know, arbitrations is not an actual it's not a trial, it's not a courtroom, it's not anything like that. Arbitration is a dispute resolution process in which the parties select a third party, typically the judge or some other representative, but a third party to resolve the claim instead of actually going to a trial court. What this means is that they have to create their best possible argument to that third party, and that third party has the sole power to weigh in who wins and who loses. This is bad because if the parties mutually select a person that one party underhandedly picked to be the middleman, for example, right? Like, I know like it has to be a mutual agreement of who weighs in, but if there's like a bit of like nepotism inside, or some type of underhanded agreement between the third party and one of the opposing parties, then typically they will automatically sign their favor and use whatever type of litigation to try to win their favor. Now, this is not set in stone. This does not inherently mean that a judge. Now, typically these arbitrations are done by a judge, like I said multiple times. And judges typically have not only the sole power, but they also have the basic discretion upon how to rule. And typically, there's nothing stopping them from applying the law, even if they were outside of a trial court. The problem with a trial court is that, one, they don't want it to be made public. If the plaintiffs won, right? If the widower Piccolo, if he won the case, not only would it be made public, but it'll also create a precedent against Disney, which Disney lawyers do not want. They don't want that level of attention. They don't want the idea that if something goes wrong with their products, that they have to, one, pay damages, so they have to pay the wife, to pay the husband some financial damages, or in this case, restitution in accordance to her life, says how much money that may be.
$50,000 is pretty damn cheap, though. You gotta imagine.
Huh?
The guy was asking for 50 grand just to pay for damages. That's pretty fucking cheap. For your wife to die. Like, you gotta imagine that's pretty forgiving, all things considered.
Well, I don't. Did I mention amount of money?
You did.
I did. But yeah, $50,000. Now, yeah, that isn't a lot of money. I think that was probably like some legal choice by the attorneys to not go like crazy high.
Well, then again, it's also, I mean, whether or not that's the case, it's a smart move regardless, because case in point, I don't think I need to say this, getting into a legal dispute with Disney and expecting to win is very fucking challenging. These guys for the past 20 years, this guy for the past 20 years has been, I mean, even more so, probably longer, had been truly the Muhammad Ali's in the courtroom. It is very difficult to challenge them and expect to win. Like, now, most cases you hear about Disney in these legal disputes, typically Disney has the right of way. They have everything is good for them because it is for them. Like, I guess the way I can describe it is that, for example, a good example I mean is like never years ago when a person who tried to claim that Disney plagiarized Finding Nemo, was it Pixar, one of those things, and
Pixar made Nemo, but Pixar is owned by Disney.
Now it is, but it wasn't back then.
It was back then.
No, it wasn't.
Well, no, but anyway, no, but I think the amount of money is kind of expected, and technically 50,000 is not technically, it's not a small amount. That's pretty good. It's just not like
not enough.
Hundreds of.
I mean, sure. I mean, if anything, you could say those those damages are being paid in the sense of, maybe paying for the those that money will go straight to paying for the funeral, possibly. But again, like, if that was my wife, if my wife died over something that was served to me in a Disney restaurant, I decided to sue the company behind said restaurant, I wouldn't settle for fucking 50 grand. I would settle for something even more so, because that's my wife. Like, she's worth way more than 50 grand, maybe way worth the money. But obviously, when suing, you got to get a bit of a flat amount. Hell, I mean, I give anything. This guy is clearly, he's not doing this for the money itself, because again, 50 grand is just too low for a situation like this. So clearly it is doing this for the sake of maybe funding the funeral, possibly. I mean, I don't know the intention, but obviously getting payback for those assholes who technically, I mean, it's not homicide. It's definitely not murder, but who technically got his wife killed, albeit like if she died of a food allergy, wouldn't that be on the family itself though?
No,
because it just occurred to me. The dispute is over the restaurant owned by Disney, and a fucking food allergy. Technically speaking, that food allergy is on the buyers, though.
No, it's not because the plaintiffs, Piccolo, they stated that that the wife made it abundantly clear that she had an allergies and tried to avoid getting anything according to that allergy. So it appears that that Disney ignored it and gave the Raglan pub, Raglan Irish pub and restaurant didn't actually pay care for the special request. Now, the issue here is that you call it like the Disney is like the Muhammad Ali in the courtroom, but the truth is behind that is that
am I wrong?
Typically, I mean, I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying that for the sake of brevity here, yes, Disney is definitely a Goliath trying to do any lawsuits with them. Thank you, Shakira, for the clarification on the audio. But no, Disney is, yes, it is a Goliath when it comes to a lawsuit, but it's not impossible. Other lawsuits that has been placed on Disney was something like a class action lawsuit, for example, it was like, discrimination, quote unquote, lawsuit, yada yada yada, or maybe even a situation where, how do you say, like, and this is thing is, this itself, the severity of this case is very, very potent because you can't easily just ignore or dismiss the death of not only a customer but also the death of a human being itself. And even if it was an accident, you have to take those cases very seriously because they play a very like a steep role in how people approach
use your words, buddy.
Don't be like that. They have to actually be wary of how they approach what's the best way to phrase this? I guess you just it's just a lot to consider. It's a lot to consider when it comes to it's a mess. It's just, overall it's just a mess. It's a very, very, very clear mess. Now, because that's why they wanted an arbitration. That's why they wanted people to actually they actually want businesses to address this problem straight up, because now they have to
you're right,
look at I'm fine. I'm just trying to collect my words here. It overall is a mess. It's not a secret. It's not a shock. It's not to be used as a surprise. It's a mess, and because it's a mess, people have. That's why they want to be arbitration. That's why they want it. That's why they want it that way. That's why they want it to avoid the case. Because if they lost, then not only to pay, not even a whole lot of money to be honest, but they also have to pay for the overall damages that's done to the plaintiff. And it just creates a precedent, and they have to reevaluate, spend a lot more money post trial, and it goes around and around and around to absurdity. To what extent, I don't know. But that's pretty much the long and short of it. I'm looking forward to the development of this case. I'm looking forward to the overall outcome, because, quite frankly, it brings a smile to my face seeing Disney actually go through some hot water more so than usual, and them facing recompense. Now, if there's one downside that I'm afraid that might not put the plaintiff in a positive light, nor put any accountability on Disney, if the plaintiffs do not agree to the request to arbitration, right? Then either A, the case been dropped because parties cannot be the case been dropped and it cannot be disputed. 2, the case is moved to a different court and a decision is done with there. Typically, this is the first thing they do. Or if they do, but if the plaintiff, if the prosecution do agree to the arbitration, then they have to settle with whatever terms, or a quote unquote compromise terms, that Disney is willing to provide, which is likely not the full $50,000 in damages, and he not end up winning a lot less, and there's no actual legal obligations done on Disney, and that's the sad truth about this situation. Disney is hell-bent on implying that, oh, you use one of our products, therefore you waived your right to trial for the rest of your days with us. And that's just dumb.
I mean, never mind dumb. I mean, isn't that the biggest stretch of a lifetime? I mean, put it this way. Disney is by no stretch of a stranger to these predatory practices. I mean, hell, and to this day, they're still going after people for posting. Like, there's this daycare. Didn't they once upon a time go after daycares for having Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse cut out on their walls? They sued a birthday party for having a what franchise was it? I want to say a Cinderella birthday Cinderella cast thing. I mean, definitely whenever Mickey Mouse involved, that's definitely them. But just to like not make it obvious, like, yeah, if it's Mickey Mouse, then it makes sense. They want to protect the IP. I mean, to this day, Mickey Mouse is still not open to the public in terms of copyright. So when and yet for some reason every year where technically the copyright is supposed to expired to where it should be allowed to be used in the public, Disney for every reason seems to magically get that copyright fixed on time. Isn't that ain't that a coinky dink?
Well, it's mostly the copyright to Steamboat Willie. That one was just a public to make use of the public.
Steamboat Willie is Mickey Mouse, motherfucker. It's the same thing.
Yes, and no. It is Mickey Mouse, but also not Mickey Mouse, because it's called Steamboat Willie for a reason. Now, the thing about you mentioned about the copyright stuff. Disney, they've been lobbying for government to obviously reamend the Copyright Act of 19 whatever, and they've been doing it every 50 years because, and mind you, this is how the copyright, and for those who don't know, this is how the copyright system works, right? The intellectual property, the copyright exists for you for your entire lifespan plus 50 years. Walt Disney died in like when he died? Walt Disney.
Good old Google here to save the day.
Yeah. Walt Disney died in 1966.
Damn, right? Mickey's that old?
No. He died at 66 at age 65, but Walt Steamboat Willie was been around since the early 20s. I mean, early 1910s. I don't know. But the Copyright Act, right, would have ended in 2016. And it would have ended, heck, it would have ended, if not that, it would have ended a few years ago. But due to Disney and politicians due to lobbyists within Disney trying to get whoever in office and have them reapply the Copyright Act, they keep doing this. Now, currently, it's unclear if I don't really know if the Copyright Act is still active for Mickey Mouse. I don't know.
I know it is. I know damn well it is.
Right.
Because they just renewed it last year. So,
Well,
I know damn well it is.
Well, either way, Disney, I don't know. They like their money. They like that. Their empire is standing strong. And the sad part is, even if Disney does face some recompense, it would not be good if they somehow crash and burn as fast as some businesses, because much like Marvel in the movie industry,
I don't see why not, though.
Well, but like Marvel in the movie industry, Disney in the overall entertainment has been one of the most founding pillars of Western entertainment, both here in the United States, but also in other countries around the world. And because of how big and massive it is, if that company falls to the ground, it creates a very dangerous precedent for a lot of smaller studios or businesses of the same ilk, we should say, and it would not last. It would not last long.
It would be ilk. That's the word you're looking for.
I said elk.
You said not elk, ilk, like ink.
I said ilk.
I swear to God. But a comment section or live viewers, please, is it ilk or elk that he said? I'm pretty sure he said elk.
Are you saying like elf, like ELF?
No, it's not, I swear to God, it sounds like he's saying ELK, elk, which is an animal.
I didn't say,
but
I said ilk.
I mean, now you're saying it, but
I've been saying it.
Whatever. Continue.
But no, it's too big to fall. Now, I do think that if it was like a steady decline, like their stocks has been utter hot water for the last few years since the whole race swapping fiasco with all these other movies and reboots. But if it does crash and burn in spectacular fashion, it would not be pretty.
We can comment on that Facebook thing on another episode. But hold that thought for another episode.
Right.
I got a lot of things to say about that.
Oh, I'm sure you do. But that's all we have time for here, folks. That's all the topic we have for you today. Hope you enjoy. Please follow us on our socials so you can get further announcements and updates on our channel. And if you like what you saw and want to see for more of it, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, hit that bell notification for future updates. Shar, any closing remarks?
Well, not much. Once again, just reiterate, if you like this episode, stay tuned. Just comment, subscribe, share, like, bell. You know the drill. Social will be in the link below. And of course, until next time.
This is your daily dose of bullshit. This is your weekly dose of bullshit. Or rather, the start of many weeks to come. Until next time, guys,